Hello, everybody. Welcome into the show. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. It's lovely to have you along for the ride. You know, it's a Friday program. It's a Friday ahead of Championship Sunday in the NFL, and I was really thinking long and hard about how I could have fun today with you. But every time I try to think about something fun, and have some fun on a Friday night, I was like, nope, I'm sports depressed right now. I still can't get over this press conference that was had this week when it came to our Philadelphia Eagles. I still can't get over what happened on Wednesday. And I can't get over a couple of things from it. One, just the diminished role of Nick Sirianni from his time when he started here in Philadelphia to what happened on Wednesday. That is just amazing to me. I also can't wrap my head around the idea of during that press conference, the news leaks of Vic Fangio coming north to Philadelphia, leaving the Miami Dolphins rather abruptly, and then becoming the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. In case you missed it yesterday, yes, there was another report from Adam Schefter that we'll get to on this program. And then you're talking about relations with a locker room. Nick Sirianni, one thing you can't debate is that Jason Kelce, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, other players in this locker room have come out with endorsements of Nick Sirianni as the head coach. Jalen Hurts, even at his locker on clean-out day, talked about how he wanted to run it back with both Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson. Well, Brian Johnson no longer here. Eagles are looking for a new offensive coordinator. We'll talk about that on the show today. And the Eagles right now, the players all had glowing endorsements of Nick Sirianni. Despite that, Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman see it fit to go in another direction when it comes to somebody that actually has power over the offense and, of course, power over the defense. And Nick Sirianni will be the overseer in a very diminished role compared to the job he took when he was first hired with the Philadelphia Eagles. So all that fallout from yesterday, or from Wednesday, rather, and what we talked about yesterday is still very much in my gut right now as we do this show. Because one of the things that I always go back to is Jason Kelce talking about how this team is in the business of hope. As athletes, they're in the business of hope. And I know we talk a lot of negative things on this show because it basically, as you walk through life, and it's unfortunate, we talk about a lot of negative things in life. We very, very rarely focus on the positive. We accept the positive as, oh, this is what should happen, so we don't need to talk about it, but let's talk about what should happen over here now. And that tends to get a little on the negative side. I want to give you hope. I want to talk about how this team is going to be amazing going forward. And I want to talk about how I have all this confidence in this team actually putting it together going into next year and then finding an offensive coordinator that'll help Jalen Hurts, get back on track. Similar to the way I think that the LA Chargers got a head coach for Justin Herbert that will get him back on track and that Chargers team back on track. But, that's a story for another day. But I want to give this hope, and I just look back on it, and I think about anything positive, and it's a gut punch. The most positive thing I can say about this is that maybe getting Vic Fangio instead of someone that will coach Vic Fangio's scheme will help you run the defense that you've been dreaming about for years. That's pretty much what I got. I do have some confidence in Jalen Hurts that he won't have another turnover-ridden season like he had this year. That's positive, right? But then I look at what happens if Jalen Hurts does turn it around. I look at it if this offense does find their stride again, similar to the way that they did in the year that they went to the Super Bowl, where you have an MVP caliber quarterback, you have two wide receivers that absolutely ball out again, even more so than they did this year, more so than they did 2 years ago. Maybe you have a running back that you actually utilize. That'd be nice. And I think, okay, well, if that happens, then do you fire your head coach and promote your offensive coordinator? Because if you have a winning season, you're not firing your head coach. So what's likely going to happen if you follow that bouncing ball? See, this is the trouble with trying to be optimistic. You eventually find the negative. And the negative here is that, all right, let's say they hire Kellen Moore, who came into town yesterday for an interview. Let's say they hire, the name I've used a lot is Jim Bob Cooter. Let's say they hire Eric Bieniemy. All these guys, they come in here, and you have a quarterback that has already shown that he can win in this league and that he can be an MVP caliber quarterback. You bring in that guy, you give him power over the offense. And the Eagles come in here and they say, all right, well, we got this guy that has done a great job with our offense now. The rest of the league's going to take notice. And then the next thing you know, he's going to be a head coaching candidate elsewhere. So then you start over again, even if you have a good year. I can't remember too many times there in the NFL, if any, if a team put it together, got into the playoffs, won in the playoffs, had an offense bounce back, and then they fired the coach and elevated a coordinator. That doesn't happen. I was thinking about it yesterday. I mean, there have been instances where a head coach has gotten fired early in the season. They promote the interim head coach, and then the interim head coach all of a sudden, or the coordinator, and all of a sudden that person has done a good enough job where he has earned a position going forward as the head coach. But in terms of actually fixing this, and you go to the playoffs again, you win in the playoffs again, maybe you get to a Super Bowl again. All right, we're optimistic right now, right? Yeah, okay, optimistic. Get to a Super Bowl again. You're going to fire your head coach after that? I don't think so. Because what's going to eventually happen is the coordinator, and I don't think Vic Fangio is in this, is why I'm leaving him out of this part of the conversation. I don't think Vic Fangio is going to be part of this because I don't think Vic Fangio wants any part of being a head coach again in the NFL. Maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe he does because he's in Philly now, and he's going to be close to his family, so maybe now he would be a head coach. But if it's Cliff Kingsbury, if it's Kellen Moore, whoever it might be taking over the Eagles offense, they're probably going to want to be a head coach or a head coach again. So even if it works next year, how long is it going to last? And this is the problem with neutering your head coach. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. And as I did, the theme of yesterday's show was, it ain't about play calling, folks. It's about everything else. And how when you went down that awful path through the gauntlet at the end of the season and lost 6 of your last 7 games and you were as terrible as you were going into it, good Lord. You had a head coach that, wasn't calling plays, and we all knew that. We all accepted that. That's how it was. Wasn't even calling plays despite Brian Johnson being the play caller with no experience. Couldn't find a way to motivate, have his team be focused. Couldn't put together the right game plan to have his team win. So, okay, he's not calling plays. Fine. So what else is he doing? Well, what's every other coach do that calls plays? You know what? I got to be honest. I don't like to weigh in on things that I have really no knowledge of beyond the surface. Like, I've watched every Eagles press conference. I've watched the players talk at their locker room. I listened to the owner this year, or almost a year ago. The general manager, the players talk, the press conferences with the coordinators. Like, I know the Eagles inside and out. I can't speak on the Ravens other than the fact that you've had, 2 losing seasons with John Harbaugh in 16 years? Oh, and a Super Bowl victory? That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, and a slew of coordinators over those years, and John Harbaugh's remained the constant, making sure that team stays competitive. Yeah, he's pretty good. He pretty much knows what he's doing. So I don't see any comparison, really, when I look at anybody else, because the Eagles are such a unique breed in the NFL. But you want to have confidence in your head coach actually being a huge piece as to why you're winning. And what it looks like after Wednesday's press conference is that is not where we are at all with the Eagles. And I keep going back to the idea that, for proper context, in the press conference, Nick Sirianni was talking about looking for a defensive coordinator, take over and handle his defense, which is not abnormal. It's not crazy. So if you follow the MO over the last 3 years here, what has happened is that Nick is, this is what we want as a defense. The Vic Fangio style defense. And with Jonathan Gannon, and obviously with Matt Patricia and Sean Desai last year, they went that same route. So that's what he looks for. Now he has that. So Vic Fangio is going to be running that. Offensively, when he was given the option throughout the press conference to talk about how it was still going to be his offense, he shied away from saying that and said, no, it's going to be our offense. It's like, it's not good. That means another step back for you. Even if you're just trying to be nice. At some point, take a W for yourself, my friend. Say you're going to have control over it. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case anymore. So you continue to see him get less and less power. And you listen to this throughout the press conference many times, but it's still yours. Right, Nick? Ours? It's so bad. It's so bad. And you want to have optimistic feelings about it going forward, but you just, You have none. Here's real cause, and this might put a smile on some people's faces. Having Vic Fangio, and I've described it before as you don't have the cover band anymore. You have the actual act in Vic Fangio. You had the Jonathan Gannon cover band of Vic Fangio and Desai and Patricia and all that. Now you actually have, the original. You have a little reunion tour going for yourself, which is great. Came back from consulting, obviously, during the Super Bowl. Throughout the season, he was weighing in, leading up to the Super Bowl as well. He's kind of been the apple of the Eagles' eye for a few years now. In Vic Fangio, everything that you've already heard about him, everything we've already heard from Jonathan Gannon and Sean Desai going into this season. One thing I did like about Sean Desai when he started addressing the media in his first press conference was, he wanted the defense to be palpable. Turns out that didn't really happen all that much, especially as the year went on. And you saw your guys that were really helping you out, especially your rookies or your younger players who were really helping you out, hit that rookie wall as the season went on. But one of the things that we have heard so many times is that there's not going to be a lot of blitzing. You're going to be relying on your front four to get that pressure. You're going to be relying on your secondary. You're going to have quarters defense a hell of a lot. You're going to have a very passive defense. It's going to be, I liken it a lot more to Jim Schwartz in only this aspect. Jim Schwartz relied on his front four to get that pressure. And in the secondary, they had to make that cover. They had to make the play. So that's why you see reports out of Miami, and we'll get to these, that are all about how Vic Fangio soured on a lot of players before his exit. And there's a writer in Miami named Omar Kelly who does a phenomenal job. And he wrote a story about how these players are basically doing cartwheels over the idea of Vic Fangio no longer running the show defensively. And also how Mike McDaniel is out there talking about how in exit interviews, so what'd you think of Vic Fangio? And apparently the floodgates opened because they were not fans of their defensive coordinator. Not even a little bit. So why is that optimistic? Well, because, ladies and gentlemen, if this is going to fail, like a lot of people are predicting, I'm not saying this is a slam dunk home run. I at least want to see it play out. This is, for me, like, you know what? You've really wanted this for a long time. I have been against it. We've all, for the most part, been against it because we want that defense to blitz with some regularity. We want that defense to dictate play with some regularity. We want that defense to be aggressive with some regularity, not bottom three in blitz percentage, which is what Vic Fangio had. And by the way, we've heard this before with a 70-sack season a year ago. Blitzing at 22% under Jonathan Gannon. I think it was 23%. With Sean Desai going into week 14 this season, I want to say it was. So we've seen high sack numbers without blitzing. That's nothing new. But with the third lowest blitz percentage in the NFL this year, the Miami Dolphins under Vic Fangio, you know what they did? They set a franchise record for sacks. That's not bad. Third in the NFL this year with 56. Not bad. So Vic Fangio found a way to get it done, at least when it came to getting after the quarterback. They were still +2 in the turnover differential category. When you look at that defense, you don't jump out and go, oh, that was amazing, because they still allowed 23 points per game. But if it's going to fail here in Philly, it's going to fail beautifully. In a much lesser degree. When Chip Kelly took over, a lot of people that say, oh, this isn't going to work, this is the NFL, this isn't college. Either way, if it was going to fail, it was going to fail beautifully. It was going to fail in an entertaining fashion. We were going to look at it and just watch it burn and burn and burn. And a lot of people are at a point right now where they're not necessarily rooting against their team, but they are dying to say, I told you so. In some people's circles of friends, they're dying to, I told you, it's Vic Fangio this way. This isn't the way to do it. I don't care if you actually got him. He's still going to fail. And this is what I mean by fail spectacular. Again, Omar Kelly is a phenomenal football writer in Miami. I've done a little bit of radio in my day in Miami, and he is one of the big names down there when it comes to talking sports. So we see this yesterday from Adam Schefter putting it out there saying that Vic Fangio traveling to Philadelphia yesterday morning to sign a contract to become the Eagles' new defensive coordinator per league source. Eagles officially get their man. Okay. All right. So I start doing some digging, and the first guy I look at here is Omar Kelly. Omar Kelly, again, does a wonderful job. There he is on Twitter. You guys can find him right there. This is the first thing that I see from Omar Kelly's story, all right? There were rumblings and complaints from different corners throughout the season about Fangio's style, how stubborn and rigid he was, particularly with his refusal early on to blitz more often, and also his reluctance to have one of his star corners shadow an opponent's top receiver. Okay, so I know a lot of Eagles fans are going to see that refusal early on to blitz more often, and that's going to drive them crazy. But let's go up one line here.
For the people on the podcast, I have a quote board on the screen.
And here we go. Fangio's style, how stubborn and rigid he was. What? So now I direct you to this Dolphins fan page, Ghost of Adam Gase. Great name. And they say players hated Fangio, looking to go younger and get a player's coach. All right. Now this, the Belichick iron fist style of coaching no longer works in the league. Now I'm intrigued because I would assume Vic Fangio was 65 years old. I would assume he'd be a little bit of an old school guy. Been in the league since 1986. That's a long time. I would assume he'd be a rigid SOB. I would hope he would be a rigid SOB. The guy I watched in San Francisco looked like a rigid SOB running a defense. And then I'm like, bring it back, baby. Let's go. We do love a guy that is very set in his ways. In a lot of ways, we love that type of hard head type coach. Absolutely love it. And if it fails, it's going to fail spectacularly because you're going to see him shooting off in a press conference or two. You'll hear players shooting off from time to time. Here's one guarantee I'm going to give you about the upcoming Eagles season. It's weird to say upcoming. You don't even play the Super Bowl yet. This is going to be entertaining. Really entertaining in either a horrible way or a spectacular way. Maybe they do bring in that offensive coordinator that saves everything. I don't know. But I'm just saying this is not going to lack entertainment. As per usual, it's very rare for an Eagles season to be boring. So he's going to have a very stubborn, set in his ways type of style. Now, that's just players, right? That's just players, right? That can't be everybody else. Enter Mike McDaniel, head coach of the Dolphins, the boss of Vic Fangio a year ago. According to a source, this is Omar Kelly's story again. One more time. Here's Omar Kelly. Check him out. Ha. All right. Omar Kelly. Okay. According to a source, at times, McDaniel had concerns about whether Fangio was willing to listen to him. However, McDaniel was aware of Fangio's personality and entered the relationship knowing he had a rigid, uncompromising style. All right. Hold on. Pause. Rewind. Repeat. According to a source, at times McDaniel had concerns about whether Fangio was willing to listen to him. This is gonna so beautiful. This is gonna be so spectacular. The Eagles have wanted this guy, so he's gonna get leeway. He's gonna get more leeway than Jonathan Gannon, obviously Sean Desai. He's gonna get a lot more leeway from everyone. Howie, Jeffrey Lurie, he's getting a lot more leeway because this is the guy they wanted. And when you have something that you really, really wanted, you give it a little leeway, no matter what it is. You wanted a car for a long time. You finally get that car, and all of a sudden you hear a little ding, 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 ding. What is that? I don't know. Whatever. I have the car. You let some things slide initially. This guy has that ground. He's got that runway. He's got that room to do it. And if this guy has all that personality, if he is that stubborn, oh, man, this is going to be so much fun. Like, people thought Jim Schwartz was arrogant. There was a story that came out, if you remember, with Jim Schwartz, when he was defense coordinator of the Eagles, about how he walked around the NovaCare complex like he owned the place. I think that's all up in interpretation. But if you have a neutered head coach and an offensive coordinator who is literally running your offense, then I think your defensive coordinator is going to be the cock of the walk, baby. And for what it sounds like, Vic Fangio kind of defaults to that attitude already. Will they talk to Nick Sirianni? Has Nick Sirianni been Howie Roseman? Is he just going to be put in the broom closet now? How is that closet still clean? All right. Hey, Nick, this is your new office. I don't necessarily think it's that bad, but from an outside looking in, it is looking that bad. And then finally this, according to sources, Fangio's performance was a single major topic of discussion in Coach Mike McDaniel's exit interviews. There were a number of the team's top players who either wanted Fangio to change his ways or be replaced, and flat out told McDaniel this. Good times. If it's gonna fail, it's gonna fail beautifully. Bah, chef's kiss. Look, there's a chance here. With all that, even without blitzing, there's a chance. There's a chance. All right. Follow the bounce ball. There's a chance here that we end up loving Vic Fangio and just hating everybody else. There's a chance. We love that old school mentality. I mean, we haven't had a coach like him, old school guy, not like a young up and coming. Jim Schwartz was obviously established, but then you had Jonathan Gannon, and you obviously had Jonathan Gannon, and then you had Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, and all that stuff. Matt Patricia, just a play caller apparently. But it's been since Jim Johnson that you can look at someone and be like, okay, this guy's been around a long time. You should really know what he's doing. And that's what Vic Fangio is. And he is, you talk about stuck in your ways, you talk about being stubborn. Yeah, it's that as I just showed you right there, that pretty much sums him up. Now, if you want to hear somebody really bitching about Vic Fangio's style, look no further than Drew Rosenhaus. That's right. Drew Rosenhaus yesterday went on Finn's View. I forget what this podcast is called. But here he is talking about Vic Fangio and what his players on the team said about their defensive coordinator.
There were quite a few players on the team that didn't necessarily get along with Fangio. And so it wasn't a great relationship with many of the players. There were some guys that loved him, but there was quite a few that didn't. It definitely wasn't a unanimous positive relationship.
So the locker room was, can you say split, I guess? Look, he's going to get that runway. He's going to get that leeway. He's going to install exactly what he wants to do defensively, and he's not there for anybody else. Vic Fangio is in Philadelphia, not because he desperately wants to work with Nick Sirianni, not because he adores the resume of Howie Roseman, and not because he thinks Jeffrey Lurie is absolutely the bee's knees, man. Vic Fangio is in Philly because he's 65 years old and he loves his family and he wants to stay in football. And the Eagles happen to be huge fans of his defensive scheme. Huge fans. Hold on a second. Hold on. In today's NFL, you just concede the idea of giving up a big play and hope you stop them in the red zone. Brilliant. Brilliant. Bend but don't break with no aggression in between. Love it. I went back. I got into a little bit of a Vic Fangio rabbit hole yesterday. Okay. A little bit of a Vic Fangio rabbit hole. And I was going back and I was watching video of when he was hired by the Dolphins. And there were people out there, oh, this is a great hire for the Dolphins, the brilliant defensive mind and all that stuff. And they kept on hitting the same talking points that we have had here in Philadelphia about the Vic Fangio style defense for the last 3 years. The buzzwords we have heard. Quarters, got them. I told you yesterday, I hope you like the arcade because we got a lot of quarters coming, baby.
The arcade for the younger crowd was a place you went before iPads.
Anyway, you go there, you got the quarters. So you got the quarters defense. No blitzing. You're going to blitz. You're crazy. You're bananas. You're banana sandwich, okay? Don't allow the big play. Those are the three things that we have talked about the most over the last 3 years. Those are all Vic Fangio buzz phrases. Those are all the constants of Vic Fangio, and we've already had it here in Philadelphia. We have not been big fans of it. Even during a 70-sack season, we didn't like it very much, and that year, he also went to the Super Bowl. It's a bend but don't break and force no mistakes. That's the difference. Like, we've heard bend but don't break. Jim Johnson would talk about it all the time. Bend but don't break. 17 points is your goal every single game. Bend but don't break. But at least along the way, what made him such a phenomenal defensive coordinator was he realized there was times, all right, now I got to dictate play. Now it's not just us sitting back and waiting for them to make a mistake. We're going to go force that mistake. The problem I've had with this idea of the Vic Fangio defense over the last 3 years here in Philadelphia, the biggest problem I have is that you never dictate play. You just wait. They'll make a mistake eventually. Somebody up front will win a battle and force a mistake. And you know what? Part of that's true. When you get 50-plus sacks, when you get 70 sacks in the season, yes, that's true. But when it comes to what we have seen most recently from this Eagles team this past season, it's just lie and wait. Wait for them to make a mistake. And the problem I have with that is that is just a philosophy that is awful. Because in professional sports, a lot of times you're going to get people that understand that's the plan. And they're going to understand that they're going to have time in the pocket to deliver the football. And if your coverage is great, then all right, great, good for you. So I hope you have a lot of confidence in James Bradbury and Darius Slay and Eli Ricks continuing to get better and better. And obviously a guy like Keely Ringo getting better and better. And hopefully those guys are fantastic. They're great. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are ready to take on an even bigger role if Fletcher Cox does, in fact, move on next year. The way he was addressing the media in his locker kind of led me to believe, hey, this is his last hurrah here in Philadelphia. The problem I have is that you can't just sit back and let the other team continue to dictate and have 15 play drives because your defense gets tired, man. There was a big drop-off. I mean, the Dolphins at one point were one of the best defenses in the NFL overall. And then, man, oh man, they just get spanked down the stretch. Is that going to happen here in Philadelphia again? I don't want to see that again. I know you don't want to see that again. I liken it to, if you allow an offense 14, 15 plays, okay, obviously you're going to get tired, but you're waiting for them to make that mistake. It's like a pitcher in baseball that's just got a good fastball. And you know what? Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. I'm just going to keep throwing fastballs. And, 70% of the time, even if I face a good hitter, 70% of the time, I'm going to be right. They're not going to be able to hit this. Like, that's the same mentality. It's like, no, they'll make the mistake. And then we'll capitalize on the mistake. Really? Because it's going to happen. They're going to time that fastball and tattoo. We're going to tattoo that ball out of the park. So that's what it feels like right now when you watch this Vic Fangio defense. And you've already watched it for 3 years. Yes, now you don't have the cover band anymore. You have the originator. And you have a guy that brings a little bit of swagger with him. I wonder if we're going to fall in love with that swagger. Hey, look, man, if he wins, if he has success, if you have one of the best defenses in the NFL, if he's able to get his hands on a guy like Jalen Carter, all right, yeah, maybe you're able to have a lot of success in that regard. Then the other side of it is maybe you lose that locker room. Maybe you lose that defensive side of the ball that has already been through a pretty tough year, having to listen to two different play callers in the course of the year. That's scary. Your defense has already been through a lot. And now they're bringing in a guy who is a tough SOB, man. Wore out his welcome rather quick in Miami. So that's what we got in store for next year. Said it many times already. I'll say it again. If it's going to fail, it's going to fail spectacularly. As far as the offensive side of the ball goes for the Philadelphia Eagles, as you know by now, Kellen Moore came in for an interview yesterday with the Eagles. This is a guy that was stripped of play calling by Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy took away play calling. Kellen Moore was supposed to be this genius play call. Like, his first 8-9 games with the Cowboys as their coordinator were great. Everyone was talking about, this is the new hot name. In the days of Sean McVay, oh man, we got this young coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury was supposed to be this innovator, right? This great offensive mind, right? And then Kellen Moore, another young hotshot. That fizzled out quickly. No, Yeah, that fizzled out rather quickly. Mike McCarthy decided, I think I'm going to take this over. I think I'm going to do this. We're going to do the Texas Coast offense. Okay, whatever the hell that is. And it worked. One of the best offenses in the league this year. A team overall in point differential that was absolutely dominant. Of course, now these are regular season things, right? This isn't playoff. This isn't playoff football. But I don't look at Kellen Moore and go, this is the guy that is absolutely going to step up and carry this team to, some next level. You look at the last 2 years, just to Justin Herbert, for instance, he has repeated his passer rating over the last 2 years. And Justin Herbert, of course, had a injury earlier in the season, but 93.2 passer rating, 93.2 passer rating this year, down from 97.7 and then 98.3 his rookie year, where he was the rookie of the year and offensive rookie of the year. So wild to me that the Eagles are now kicking the tires on a guy that has not exactly helped Justin Herbert. Now, you could easily say, well, what about the weapons? Well, that's the thing that I always focus on when talking about the Eagles being the 7th best offense in the NFL. Over the last 6 weeks of the season, the Eagles dropped from the 3rd highest scoring offense to the 7th. They did that with a guy who was the runner-up to Patrick Mahomes as the MVP in Jalen Hurts. They did that with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith as wide receivers. Essentially guys that would be both number 1 wide receivers on a large majority of the teams in the NFL. With DeAndre Swift as a running back behind the best ranked offensive line in football. And you want to brag to me about being a top 7? That ain't a brag, bro. That ain't a brag. So who knows? Maybe somebody with a good offensive mind. Somebody that with offensive experience, obviously, who's already been a play caller. Maybe that's what Kellen Moore needs to take over the offensive play calling responsibilities and take over the offense and be in charge of the offense. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is because you got weapons here. The fact that the Eagles weren't able to have more success with these weapons is mind-numbing. Maybe he knows how to get the best out of Jalen Hurts. Maybe. But I look at a lot of the names that are out there. The one that is most attractive to me is Eric Bieniemy. That's the one that's the most attractive to me. That's the one I have the most hope. Now, let me set the table again for a second here. What I wanted when we went into the offseason was Sirianni out and then just a boatload of money at Jim Harbaugh. But whatever you want, Jim, run the show. Because then you would know who is running the show with the Eagles. It's not like, hey, is Howie meddling too much in game day operations? Is Jeffrey Lurie too involved in game day operations? Is his analytics team, are they dictating too much to the head coach? No, Jim Harbaugh he's running the ship, and there's a reason why that wasn't going to happen here in Philly. I'm saying if it was up to me, what I wanted and what my prediction was going to be, two totally different things. But the Eagles right now, when it comes to what they're going to be doing with this offense, I love the idea of Eric Bieniemy coming in here and handling and running the show. You talk about both sides of the football then, as I talked about many times with Vic Fangio, having those tough SOBs as the guys that are the leaders here, the guys that are the coordinators. Eric Bieniemy is bringing that same type of juice to the offensive side of the football. He's got the touch of Andy Reid, the blessing of Andy Reid. He certainly has the experience. And if anybody's going to fall out of line, Eric Bieniemy is going to put him right back in there. If Nick Sirianni, and this is what I found really interesting when thinking a little further about the attitude of Vic Fangio after reading the Omar Kelly story and how that would be right on the same page with Eric Bieniemy. If you have two tough coordinators, then Nick Sirianni actually to a player becomes more valuable. Because here's what we know. We know that Nick Sirianni is respected by his players. We know he's liked by his players. They went above and beyond. It wasn't just the norm of like, yeah, coach does a great job. It was gushing, okay? Which I admit was surprising to hear, the gushing. But when it comes to their coordinator positions, you can have two tough guys, two hard-nosed, old-school guys. If you have that guy in the middle, that's the coddler. If they, hey, it's okay. Come on, let's do it. We got it. We could do this. Then that almost makes your head coach become the ally of the players. And you do want to play for that guy. You, of course, want to impress the guy that's riding you hard. but you also want to make sure that you're playing for that head coach that is there to support you. And that could be the direction the Eagles decide to go. The other aspect of this is I was really thinking about it. It's like the personality of Nick Sirianni is going to be, I think, a wild thing to follow throughout this year. And the way players are going to talk about him, the way players will talk about the coordinators. I mean, Nick Sirianni, let's not forget, for all the cheering and the Sirianni stuff that we've talked about on this show, shout out Sean Kilrain. This is a guy that dressed up as Jalen Hurts for Halloween 2 years ago. This is a guy that learned the fight song of Miles Sanders 2 years ago in order to connect more, 3 years ago, to connect with his running back. This is a guy that wears Brandon Graham t-shirts. This is a guy that, yes, overstepped a bit when he wore the Beat Dallas t-shirt that absolutely became bulletin board material for the Dallas Cowboys, who whooped the ass of the Philadelphia Eagles in their first meeting in Dallas with Nick Sirianni as the head coach. Whooped their ass. This is a guy that I think absolutely becomes more of a player favorite. He'll probably still do his game plans. That'll probably still be him. He'll still do the head coaching responsibilities, checking the boxes of addressing the team. But everything else seems like it's going to fall on their coordinators. Essentially, I don't think you're having coordinators in the upcoming season. I think a better way to put it is you're having a defensive head coach and you're having an offensive head coach. And in the middle, you have the feel-good story of Nick Sirianni. Hey, guys, we could do it. Right? We could do it, right? We could do it, right? That's essentially what you're going to have. If they bring in Eric Bieniemy, that'd be very interesting. Well, I'd love to see it. Whoever they bring in as offensive coordinator, whether or not it's tough love guy or just a smart guy that knows what the hell he's doing, and that's, don't get me wrong, that's what I want above anything else. This guy is you're not getting any results from this offense, but damn, this guy's a hard ass. Go Eagles. No, that's not what I'm talking about at all. I just want somebody who's going to go in there and do a good job. I think Bieniemy will do a good job and offer that, tough love kind of thing. You don't like it, deal with it, that kind of thing. Kellen Moore intrigues me simply because I know he has the experience. I think he would be better than Brian Johnson. I know that's the lowest compliment you could give somebody. I think it'd be hard for Cliff Kingsbury to come in here with these weapons and do a terrible job. Like, you're coming into a great situation. If you're an offensive coordinator, if you're a prospective offensive coordinator, this is a great spot for you to be in. The only thing that might be a little daunting is the analytic department thinks you should really pass more. Okay, thanks. I'm doing my job over here. That's the only thing that could be a little daunting, is that other people are going to have their hands on it, right? There are a lot of cooks in the kitchen still. But if they're bringing you in because they like you, and they bring it in because you like their ideas, and you like their ideas, and maybe they'll be a little bit more receptive of whatever the hell your ideas are. But bottom line is, I think you're going to have two head coaches, and you're going to have the rah-rah guy in the middle, in Nick Sirianni. And that doesn't make me feel good, because you want to look at your head coach as the guy that's in charge. And this just looks like a guy who's going to say nice things in the media. That's where we're at, folks. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. Let me tell you about the people. Oh, wait, hold on. How dare I? 76ers, I'll get this in before the morning rush, lose last night to the Indiana Pacers. But here's the numbers on Joel Embiid. Last night he had 31 points. It's his 22nd straight game with 30 points. 22nd straight. He's tied for the fourth longest active streak. Fourth longest streak in NBA history, but his is active. Okay. Wilt Chamberlain has, wow, I really put this backwards. I'll edit all this out. Okay. Most consecutive 30-point games. Joel Embiid has the fifth longest streak, 22 games. Wilt Chamberlain, 25 games. Wilt Chamberlain, 31 games. James Harden, 32 games. Wilt Chamberlain, 65! 65 games! And he's got 3 of the 4 longest 30-point game streaks in NBA history. It's always good to see Wilt up there. But yeah, Sixers were terrible last night against the Pacers. Never led in the game. Flyers got shut out against Alex Lyon, their former netminder. Not a great night. Not a great night. Not a great night, even a little bit. Let me tell you about the Game Time app, ladies and gentlemen. Want to go to the game? Want to go to the big event? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Ladies and gentlemen, download the Game Time app to your phone and get in the game with the Game Time app. You can download the Game Time app. You create an account, use promo code Farzy, you get to $20 off your first purchase. So, Valentine's Day around the corner. Maybe you want to take that special someone in your life to an event, concert, comedy show, game, whatever the case may be. Game Time app is where it's at. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and you'll find yourself in the game. Now, how about this? You also get to view the seat before you purchase, so you know your vantage point, all right? How about this? The Game Time guarantee. Guaranteed lowest price. So if you find a ticket in the same section, same row for less money, they'll get you back for 110% of the difference. That's the Game Time guarantee. And also all-in pricing, so that when you get to the end to check out, it's not like, oh, these tickets were only $35. How is this $148? No. No surprise fees at the end there. That is what the Game Time guarantee is all about. So Game Time, download the Game Time app to your phone, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase at the Game Time app. Game Time guarantee. Lowest price. Game Time app, GameTimeapp.co. How about the people at MyBookie? MyBookie.ag. You want to bet on the NFL playoffs this weekend? Little championship Sunday action? Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone. Jeez, did it again. Download the MyBookie app to your phone. So many apps, ladies and gentlemen. Download the app to your phone. That's MyBookie. And get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus when you use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy at MyBookie. Sports ain't your thing? How about this? You can bet on your favorite TV shows. You can also bet on politics. If that's your thing, go for it. And make sure you do that with MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. You want to bet on NBA? Want to bet on NHL? Want to bet on the NFL? It's all right there at the incredible app of MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you guys are doing this fine morning. It's Friday, people. Let's see here. Yeah. Jason, good morning. Dank, lunch break time? Dank, what is it you do? And do you have time to coach the Eagles? Andrew, what's going on, Andrew? Oh, that's very nice, Andrew. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. For the people on the podcast, Andrew says it's the best sports show in Philly. So, I mean, it's what he said. I got to read it aloud. All right. All right. Hey, Adam, what's going on? Daniel, what's popping? I like a yo. Yo, what's up, man? Sean Kilrand, good morning. Dev, good morning. Teresa. What's going on, Teresa? Nice to see you. Dank, no use in stressing about it. Yeah, Dank, you know what's funny? I'm a very happy-go-lucky. I feel like I've said this many times, okay? I'm a very happy-go-lucky guy. I'm a very optimistic person. I'm not, I don't know, whatever. I'm a happy-go-lucky person. And everything but sports. Quite literally everything but sports. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. Because and the reason for that is it's not just like if it's just about me, then I'll be good. I'm good. All right. It rains a little bit. Okay, sometimes it rains. All right, fine. Roll through it. Some of you guys know this story. Some of you don't, and this had a profound impact on my life. When my grandfather was in the United States Coast Guard, and a lot of people don't know this, but the Coast Guard delivered troops during the island hopping campaign of World War II, and my grandfather's ship got torpedoed. And I knew my grandfather. My grandfather died a couple years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago. And anyway, knew the guy my whole life. Incredible guy, really admired him. And his ship got torpedoed. We knew about that as kids. Me and my 21 first cousins, we all knew about Pub-Up getting torpedoed in World War II. And they patched it up, and then they kept going. So, imagine coming home, and I lived with my grandparents for a year. Imagine coming home from school and complaining to that guy about your rough day. That's the mindset me and my cousins have. It's all the same. It's just like, oh, well, stuff happens. Keep moving. Head down and keep on moving forward, that kind of thing. So that's my mentality about just about everything. It's like, well, Pop-Up got torpedoed, and that guy kept going. So what homework is hard? Like, what do you say? You know? So when it's just me, I head down and run type of mentality. But when it involves an entire fan base of people that a lot of majority of my friends and family are in that fan base, I feel for them because I know how hard they work and I know the money they're spending to go to a game or have season tickets or whatever. And I know the investment emotionally they all put into it. And then for that group, that team, that franchise to be disingenuous with them is really bothersome to me. That really pisses me off. And then I can't, and they'll talk to me about it, like I can help them with their problem, and I'm just like, I hate to tell you this, but I feel like it's a run with the ship right now. I'm sorry, like I can't, and I just see the hurt, but I got to be honest with them, and it bothers me because you have to be honest through most things in life, right? I try to be a kind-hearted man, and I try to be a nice guy, right? I try to be very, very respectful. And the thing that sucks about doing this kind of thing is that you got to say the real thing. You have to be genuine. Because people are like, if I'm like, hey, you know what? I think Sirianni's going to figure it out. People are like, what the hell? Like, why are you lying to me? So, yeah, I wish I could be more optimistic. I tell you all that. So Dank, when you say don't stress about it, no use in stressing about it, I'm like, yeah, I wish I could follow that. Adam, what's going on? Have fun. You don't have to shovel snow today? Wait, where are you at again, Adam? Are you in Alaska? I shoveled my snow all last week, man. I'm done. Sean Gillespie was going. Sean Kilrain was going. A diminishing role of Sirianni doesn't surprise me one bit with taking orders from Darth Howie, Farzy. Wow, that's hilarious. Teresa, what's going on again? Farzy, have you heard anything official about Kelsey's retirement? I seen it on YouTube and Instagram. Kelsey, I have not seen anything about Kelsey's official retirement. But now I'm going to look. You've seen it on YouTube? I mean, he's talked about it. Oh, now I'm looking at Instagram, and my wife posted a really nice reel of my son turned 2 yesterday. Leo's 2. Why do I hear about Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriends? I don't care. Why is that a thing? Laura. Kelsey? Bear with me as I do some live. I don't see it. He's talked about his retirement, but I don't think it's official yet. I feel like I'd get the notification. Charles dead. Salute, fellow Farsians. All right. What's going on? Nice to see you. April. Morning, April. Can happen to a coach. Sixers. Hey, what's going on? Go Sixers. Farzy, you try, but it's hard talking sense into Bill Colarulo Spadera. Hold on. I'm going to take a clip of this. I'm going to take a picture of this. And I talked to Bill after the show yesterday. This is just funny. There we go. All right. I'm going to send that to Bill. That'll be fun. Thank you, Go Sixers. Love Bill. So why are you weighing in on... So why are you weighing in on what could happen with Nick when you have no knowledge of it? What? I have a poop ton of knowledge of it. No knowledge. No knowledge about it? What the hell are you talking about? Have you not followed the bouncing ball, man? I follow the bouncing ball. The bouncing ball is you have a neutered head coach. That's where it's at right now. It's just bouncing right there. The only ball involved in this is right there, unfortunately. Both Harbaughs transform their teams and quarterbacks for the better. Sirianni is not that type of head coach, says Sean Gillespie. I agree. Hey, Mihai. What's going on, Mihai Sanchez? Good morning, all. Fangio is a good hire. Now let's campaign for Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator. Go Ravens and Lions. Have a great weekend. All right, drop that in there. He was the head coach. He's involved in game time decision and controlling egos. Okay. So the bare minimum sounds about right. Harbaugh didn't really turn him. He's a big time what? Involved needs to be. That is true. That's the operative word there. Involved. He's involved. Yeah, he should be making the decision as the head coach. Didn't the Dolphins lose 4 key players on defense? They did, Joe. Bradley Chubb being one of them. They did towards the end of the season. So it's not all on Vic Fangio, but that's the numbers people are going to go to. Let's see. Everything is peaches and cream, right? Oh, geez. Am I supposed to mope now and think we suck now? Says Dank. I mean, look, I'm not going to tell you how to feel. Like I don't want everyone. No, you would be depressed. No, I want. Hey, look, I want you to be happy. That's all I want. Whatever makes you happy. If you think Nick Sirianni is going to be that rah-rah guy in the middle of 2 hard asses right there, then all right, you be that. All right, let's go. Don't get me wrong. A lot of times, because my overall agenda is the happiness of the fan base, and I feel like when people are lied to, they're not generally that happy. So I try to be as honest as possible. No, I am as honest as possible. But if you want to look at it with the Disney-colored glasses, then go for it. All right? I'm just telling you how it is, man. That's all I'm doing. Now, I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that, no, wow, this Nick Sirianni guy is really brilliant, and these other coordinators are just simply holding him back. Yeah, I hope that's the case. It's kind of hard to go that way. Lincoln's Hawk. Offensive coordinator just needs to be Italian, and we're good. Let's see. Oh, dank. Come on. Fire Nick Fangio? Huh? All right, just for the record, it's Vic Fangio. 4-13. Feel better now? No. That makes me feel worse. What's up, Jeremy? Good morning, Mark. You can bring whomever you want to coach the defense. At the end of the day, you have to have players. I will have to be creative in getting talent here to fit the scheme. Certainly. The thing is, the scheme is still the same. It's getting that talent it's getting that talent that Vic Fangio specifically is going to want. If that's your point, I agree. And that is a good point. I agree. You do need players. But I'll put it to you like this. One of the things that was also on repeat when I went in that Vic Fangio rabbit hole yesterday was I was pleasantly surprised to hear a lot of the things that I've said about him on the show and said in interviews about him is that when I go back to his San Francisco 49er days and being out there in San Francisco a lot because those teams were on Sunday Night Football a lot, going out there and watching that defense just tackle with great precision and efficiency. And how if they weren't making a play on the ball, they were making a play on the body immediately. So yards after the catch weren't really a big thing. And that's one of the things that was just mesmerizing to watch. That's a well-disciplined defense. That's not James Bradbury, letting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers make a double move and all of a sudden they're 40 yards downfield for a touchdown. That's not something that Vic Fangio's defense, from what I remember, that's not something you see a lot of. What's going on? Hello. Oh God. Okay, Dank. Now this is the one that's going to set me off here. Who knows how it goes? All right, let's do that. We've done this before. Let's do the who knows show. Okay. All right, ready? Hold on. Let me just hit this. We'll do the who knows show. Okay, ready? Hold on. This is going to be the who knows show. Just real quick. Stay with me. Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. The Eagles are going to have 2 new coordinators. Who knows how it goes? We'll see what happens. Vic Fangio's old and got a lot of experience. We'll see how he does. Jalen Hurts took a step back. Maybe he'll take a step forward next year. Thanks for watching. That show sucks. That show sucks. We're not doing that show. That we can say that about it. That is not. Have you ever been in a group of your friends and you've talked about sports and just we'll see is the conversation ender. We'll see is the like, oh, we'll see. All right, anyway, I got that meeting. I gotta be at. Oh, my shift's starting. I gotta go. Like, all right, well, we'll see. That's the end. That's the out cue. No, thank you. I love when people are like, well, we'll see. Yep, we will. Hopefully. I don't know. Hopefully we'll see. Hello. No, man, now I lost. Hey, NJ Fishing Maniac. Good morning. I like seeing you in here because then all of a sudden I am fishing, just putting a line in the water, pulling out a nice 4-pound bass. All right. Getting back to where I was, wherever the hell that was in life. Where is this? Soul Rebel 72. I want someone that doesn't kiss players' butts. There you go. Vic Fangio loves turtles in time. What? With all them quarters. All right. Maybe he'll beat the game. Jeremy, Mark, clearly Nick is not an innovative head coach. This is a unique offense with many hot offensive coordinators available. Do you think Nick is back to persuade Kelsey and Cox to come back? It could be. The thing is with Kelsey, I do think I am now. What was I on Tuesday? I believe on Tuesday I was in the realm of Jason Kelsey comes back, and I was like 25% sure he comes back. Now I'm like, I don't know why. Now I'm like 35% sure he comes back. Kelsey or Cox on the other side, I think he goes elsewhere. I think he's looking for that one last paycheck. Kelsey's got a pretty nice career mapped out for himself after playing, so I think he'll be just fine and dandy. But yeah. But to your point, it could be part of that reason as to why he's coming back. Mike says no to Kellen Moore. Joe Matty, defenses should attack like a hungry shark. I agree. Twiz, you're the first. Fire Fangio. Congratulations. If you can't get Herbert right, you're not getting Jalen right. Yeah, I agree, Mike. Like I said, the only thing that really gives me optimism is that you have so many more offensive weapons here in Philadelphia. Fangio's fiddlers. Nick was trying to be the player's best friend. He needed to be harder on him. Yeah, I think so. Does he get an Italian flag patch? Says Lincoln's Hawk. It's possible. It's for a minute there, he was really getting a lot of people on his side with that Italian flag during what was it? Heritage Week. It was Heritage Week. Luke Skylifter, great name, great avatar. As far as your banana sandwich comment, oddly made me laugh hysterically. Well, hey, anything I can do to help. Wine Niners wine. I have a Kevin Cobb jersey. Okay, congratulations. No snow here. 70s today, says April in the Carolinas. Oh, yeah. Billy Bob Joe. Great name. I had the same thought. NFL copying the Eagles puppet coach model. Belichick, Carroll left out in the cold now. Vrabel, Carroll, Belichick. Everyone looking at them being like, nope. No thanks. The Vrabel thing doesn't surprise me. I don't know why so many people wanted Mike Vrabel. 40s today, warmest in a while. Yeah, it's going to be nice today. Charleston, wish my girl... Jeremy, wish my girl Kristen Evan Harris today as wait, hold on. She starts her first Okay. All right. Well, Jeremy, this is news to me. Just to bring everybody else into the conversation. Kristen's a good friend of mine. We went to high school together. We've remained friends. And yeah, all right. We haven't talked in a minute, so I'm going to remedy that. Thank you for letting me know, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Oh, that's very nice, you guys. Happy birthday, Leo. Appreciate you guys. Very nice. Paul Mancini. It'll be interesting to how some Eagles veterans and soon their young players take Fangio's old school methods. I expect a few to have issues. Yeah, probably won't have a lot of issues, unfortunately. Can't believe I got up early enough to join the chat. Hey, Greg, welcome to the chat. Nice to have you. Oh, you like the Who Knows show? Yeah, maybe that's what we'll just do from now on. Petty Mark is my favorite Mark. Yeah, sometimes, you know. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm petty for much longer. Blacking out Belichick. Sean, that's very nice of you. Appreciate you. I know, Dank. I'm just having some fun with you. You're not telling. I know. I'm just having some fun. I appreciate the comments. Don't you worry. We'll see. I went to high school with him. All right, there we go. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great. Appreciate you guys, as per usual. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hey, if you guys are looking for something fun to do in our area this weekend, the Philadelphia Wings got a game Saturday tomorrow, so hop on down there and come take in a Wings game at the Wells Fargo Center. This weekend's game is at 7:30. I knew it was an odd start time. So, yeah, tomorrow night, 7:30, Wells Fargo Center. Come take it in and have yourself a good time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Much appreciated. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks, everybody. See you then.